All right, another episode of Conversate After Dark. Tell you what's up with you.
Everything's great with me. What's going on with you?
It's all good. It's all good. Tell people where they can find us.
You can find us at Conversate After Dark everywhere. And if you would like to be a guest on the show or you have a topic you want us to cover, you can reach us at CVAD, the podcast at gmail.com.
That's right. Go to our website, www.conversateafterdark.com. Make sure you tell a friend about the show. So, all right, Tay, let's do the icebreaker.
Okay. This one, I don't know if I'm able to answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Tell me the last time you did something nice for yourself.
Hmm. That used to be a hard thing for me to do because as men, I was talking about on the show how like I'm a man's man. And part of being a man's man is you're always doing for your family and being there for your friends and for your community. And oftentimes, what comes with that is like suffering almost, like nobody caring about your feelings unless it's Father's Day. And, people, you get socks. Even when it is Father's Day or Christmas, you get socks or underwear, nothing like real nice or what have you. But I have to say that a lot of my friends and family have tried to do nice things for me. And I really had to like get out of that mind frame of not allowing them to do that because I felt like um as the man, like you shouldn't be doing nice things for me. So I really tried to get over that. And part of that, getting over that, is doing nice things for myself as well. So I would say buying myself like technology. I'm big into gadgets, so I bought like something. Oh, scratch that. People on the show don't know, but Tay knows this very, very well. I am a huge Mary J. Blige fan, like the number one fan. Like, if you want to lose me as a friend, talk some shit about Mary. And I I've traveled to see her. I went to Europe to see her, and I went to Vegas, and then I actually paid to go back to Vegas to see her for a second time. And big long story behind that, but ultimately it's something that I want to do. And some people might judge, like, okay, you spend all that money to see Mary twice? Yes, I am. So that would be the last thing that I did for myself. That was very nice, paying to go see Mary J. Blige.
Okay. I'm not sure where I want to take this because I'm really not one to do things for myself, even though I'm single and I could have no kids, so I have no responsibilities in terms of that. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Now I will say the majority of the time, my weekends are my own. Even if as people may not know, but I'm a caretaker for my grandmother. So there are times where on the weekends, my mother and my aunts usually handle those. But if they can't, there were times when they would ask me to do it. And at first I was saying yes, but I've gotten into the habit where I need my break. So my weekends are my own. So if it's not something important, I do what I want to do on the weekends. And that's really not taking care of my grandmother, unfortunately. Just that's those are my off days, so I treat them as my off days. I'm gonna say that.
But I think I've never had to be a caretaker. I have seen it in person. My grandmother, my father's mom, she had turned ill for a while and she came to stay with us for an extended period of time. So I've seen firsthand, people, and my mom's mom, um, she actually stayed in her home, and my mom and her brothers and sisters would take turns spending the night and being there to take care of her or whatever. So I've seen it, but I've never done it. And I think for most people that I've talked to about caretakers, they say the most important thing is for the caretaker to get a break and to be
Mm.
able to do nice things for themselves, because they say what happens is once you start taking care of somebody and caretaking, you start to neglect yourself. And then next thing you know, you need somebody to take care of you. So, as your friend, I'm really glad that you do that. But what do you do? You don't like pay to get massages, you don't go to spas or anything like that, something to kind of relax.
Not really, and that's why I kind of hesitated saying that as the nice thing for myself because unless something comes up where like the last concert I went to was a New Edition concert. And so I could say that, but that's not something that's like a ongoing thing. I used to get before the pandemic. I was scheduled my pedicures were every 2 3 weeks, without without a break. But since the pandemic, I really haven't kept up with that. Like I said, I may do it like maybe 3 or 4 times, maybe during the summer when people see my feet. But yeah, I haven't really, and it is something about letting yourself go because like I said, during the pandemic, I kind of did that, which is why now I'm more adamant that my weekends are my own. And most of the time, I'm just sitting around doing nothing, watching TV, catching up on shows that I may have missed. But yeah, that's it. That's about it.
Yeah, because I don't think it doesn't always mean that people have ill intent or are trying to use you. But sometimes you really got to set boundaries, especially if
Mhm.
you are a dependable person and folks know that you can do it. And I'll speak for myself. Um, I'm known as the softy. So people know if they call, I'm the guy that gives his last to his friends. Literally, I've literally given my last to people. And as we get older, you realize like, shit, who gonna take care of me? I've been taking care of all these people for years, and clearly they ain't got it to give to me. So I'm gonna have to start being a little bit more selfish with my stuff, So they're setting boundaries with like your partner, but then also setting boundaries with your family and sometimes your friends as well. It's a major thing,
That's true.
and for some people it's so easy, and for me it's just not, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
I, I,
Yeah.
I guess I don't want to let people down or what have you. I'm doing better. And I've kind of forced myself to do better because I know what's this, 26, 2024. Oh my gosh. My friends and family, they try to literally use me up. I mean, even into the last day, December 31st, I had a motherfucker calling and, hey, I always said that I would never do this, but here I am. Can you give me some money? I spent too much, and I fell for the shit, right? And after that, I was like, I just can't do it no more because
Mm.
I was resentful. I was resentful because I felt like I was being used, and nah, nah, okay, you can't do that. Not like when I'm pushing 50, like I am.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. Uh, I lost my train of thought.
I let's go back. I'm saying this. That's why I said I got to give me a girlfriend so I can blame it on her. Some people be
Oh.
like, "Hey man, can you, hey, can you loan me some? Let me call my girl, man, see if it's cool, whatever." And then like, nah, she said no, man, we can't.
Oh yeah, I used to allow my exes to use me. If you don't want to go somewhere, just tell them. Well, at first it started off with one ex's cousin blaming me, but as the years went on, I wouldn't mind if people used me as a scapegoat. But no, back to when you were saying, when people look at you as the responsible one or the one that they can count on, they will like you said, it maybe not taking advantage on purpose, but they will you'll be the person that they go to all the time. And I am that person. And because, I was raised, if you give somebody your word, stick to it or be the responsible one. So I'm always like, if somebody asks me to do something, especially if they need help doing something, I'm always yes, yes, yes. What I need to work on is setting a boundary without backing away because that's my way of setting the boundary is that I will back away, which is really pushing people away, which I don't want to do. But in order for me not to have to tell people no, I just back away so that I'm not around them to even give them the opportunity to ask me for something, which is not a good place to be either.
Also, you cut. So is that a nice way of saying cutting people off?
Um, not it's not the same as cutting people off because usually when you cut people off, it's because your as they say these days, your peace is being it's being tested, or they've done something to you. I'm not even talking about that. Like I'm someone who will shut down. So or just like I said, just back away. And so my way of setting a boundary at times has been to just back away, which it can alienate you from people, which is not what I want to do either. I just need to get better at saying no.
Yeah, and it's just it seems like such a simple word to say, but it's
Yeah.
hard hard for me to do. Have you ever turned down? Have you ever said no to a person that asked you for a date?
Now that if I don't like a person, I'm quick to say I'm quick to say no on that. Only because I don't want to be put in a position where I'm hurting someone's feelings, in that respect. I don't want to lead people on. So in that respect, I'm quick to tell people no.
So you never given a courtesy date?
No, no. If I go on a date, it's because I want to go on the date. Now after that first or second date, if I'm not feeling it, then yeah, I'm gonna have to cut it off.
You and I talked about this offline with some friends because I'm the type of guy that believes in the man paying for the dates, even when I'm in a relationship, even when, I was married and our funds were commingled, like I'm paying for it. So I'm definitely, if I'm going out with you, it's because I legitimately want to spend time with you, not because I'm bored, not because you know, I think I may get something out of it. Nah, nah, I'm not doing that. Because I've been on some dates that have been some doozies, and like in particular one, and it started off as like a good date. Okay, so you remember the movie Will Smith had? Was it called Hancock?
Yeah.
Where it's like him, was it what was her name? Was it Charlize Theron or what was her name?
Um, I can't think of
We don't know
a
the name.
woman who was in that.
Some white lady, right?
Yeah.
But you would like when they were good, they were good, but it would just create chaos.
hmm
One particular person in my life, that's the type of relationship we had. Um, we don't talk now, you know. She's happy in her life, I'm happy in my life. But but whenever we would spend time together, the chemistry was just there. But you remember back in the day when chicks would like the bad boys? So
Huh.
he liked the bad boys. And I was the schoolboy safe dude that, I'm gonna say it, when she was bored, she'd take me off the shelf, dust me off, and she would play with me, right? And then whenever the exciting things came, put me back on the shelf and go to those. Well, one day we decided to go on a date, and I grew up in Topeka, Kansas, so we drove to Kansas City, and we went to this place. It was called King Louis, and it was arcade, ice skating. I've never ice skated in my life, and I tried to ice skate. I'm a big dude, man, and she was just skating around the rink. Man, I was out there falling around and everything. And what made it so funny, not that I was falling on the ice, but there was a group of older black people seeing their grandkids, and they were just dying laughing at me trying to trying to ice skate. So it made me laugh too. So her and I, we having a great time, and I'm taking her home. And when you grow up in a small town like I do, a lot of times, a small town like I did, um, a lot of times teenagers and young adults, they can't get into the club, so they just find somewhere to just hang out. It
hmm
be like a random, like the parking lot at the mall or outside the club, the teenagers, that's what we would do. And in one particular situation, they would hang out in the Burger King parking lot. This is, small town living. So we driving, and then all of a sudden she says, pull over in this parking lot. And me being a dummy, I pulled over in the parking lot. And she was like, hold on, I'll be right back. And I'm thinking, like, what's going on? She sees the thug dude with and she goes and gets in an argument and confronts him, and they arguing and doing all this. And I'm young and I'm probably like 16 or whatever.
Mhm.
And this is one of them dudes that was in his 20s dating a 17-year-old. And all of a sudden he looking at me, he flipping me off. She done put me in danger because now I'm the simp that then drove her to come confront her man. When really we was just hanging out and she just happened to say, hey, just pull over there, right? So it ended up being like some shit. Thankfully it didn't turn into anything serious, but I took her home. And after that, I was like, nah, I was cool on her for a minute. Because not only did you potentially put me in some shit, but you also made me look stupid. Cause that ain't the type of dude I am. Like, why you out with me? And I'm gonna take you to go confront your other dude. Like, I wouldn't have
Right.
done, so it ended up being a terrible day. You been on a bad date?
Oh my gosh. There's this one date that's etched into my head. Um, and it was a lot, but I'll give the the super condensed version. First of all, dude was drunk, and how I realized that was we went to a concert. We drove separately, and we were trying to coordinate parking, and that's when I could tell like his words was slurring and all kind of crazy stuff. So we both found parking not close to each other, but around the where the concert was. As as we're walking to the building of the concert, he's so drunk he has to use the bathroom. Now we're like 2 blocks up from where the concert was. Instead of him waiting until we get into the building, he he uses the bathroom on the side of the building. I should have went home right then.
Dip into an alley, or he just did it on the side?
No, on the side of the building where the street was, where anybody driving past could see. I should have left right there.
I was gonna say you must have really wanted to go to that concert.
I did. First of all, we went to see Charlie Wilson was the main was the main, you know, uh, 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 feature. But opening for him was Chuck Brown.
Yep,
I'm from the DMV.
yep,
We love us some Chuck Brown here.
yep.
I really, really, really wanted to see Chuck Brown. With us trying to coordinate parking because he's drunk and we can't, we miss the first few minutes of the concert, which was Chuck Brown's whole lineup. We missed the whole thing
You missed Chuck Brown in his entirety.
in his entirety. When
Oh,
we got there,
yeah,
yeah, when we got in the building, the DJ was playing because they were setting up for Charlie Wilson to come on and do his set.
that's messed up.
So anyway, so we go in. First thing he does was this place had served alcohol. He wants to go get a drink. I'm like, no, I'm good. So I go to our seats, give him his ticket. So he comes in later
Hold on,
because he's
hold
uh,
on. Go train of thought. He paid
okay.
for the tickets, or you pay for the tickets?
I paid for the tickets, but he paid me back. So I bought the tickets. Yeah.
They was in your name. You could have left his ass. I'm
I
thinking
could.
like, I'm thinking like he must have paid for the tickets. Y'all got to go to will call, so that's why she's hanging in there.
No, it was really and I had never seen Charlie Wilson before. So I was like, but I really want to see Chuck. So anyway,
He
so
goes to get a
he's
drink. You go to the seats.
right. He's drunk again. So as he's walking to our seats, he's spilling his drink. He has 2 drinks. I told you I didn't want one. He has 2 drinks. He's spilling the drink on people trying to get to the seat. So then Charlie comes on. It's a lot that happens. Let me just say, dude start dancing. He could dance, even drunk, he could dance, but because he's drunk, he's wild as hell, hitting everybody, accidentally because he's drunk, but still. And the lady behind us started getting into it with me because he's my date, so she's thinking I should be able to control him. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
this is only our second date. I don't know this dude like that. Yeah, I don't know him like that. So anyway, at one point, this is when that song "Take Your Shirt Off, Twist It Around Your Head, Take It Like a Helicopter." He took his jacket and started swinging it around his head. So now the zipper part of his jacket is starting to hit everybody around us. So look, so this this happened. I said, I know where this is going. So I turned around in my seat and looked at the stage and was like, I just acted like I didn't know him. And just as I thought, the woman behind us went and got security and he got thrown out. And I acted like I didn't know him.
I ain't mad at you.
But that's not it. So I stayed. I enjoyed the rest of Charlie Wilson because I had never seen him before. Amazing show. As we're leaving, oh, that's another reason why I didn't want to go because I didn't know what was his attitude was going to be. So I didn't want to leave by myself. So I waited for the crowd. As I'm leaving, he calls me. Because he's drunk, he wasn't paying attention to the street signs. His car got towed.
Oh shit. Worse.
Yeah. I said, well, I hope you can have somebody come pick you up. I was out.
You ain't even go. Dang. You know what? I'm not mad at you for that though. Because he acted such an ass all night. And some of these dudes out here ain't right. Especially and if he was willing to act that fucking ignorant in public, ain't no telling what he would do if it was just you two together. So
Yeah.
he made the wise call on that one.
Yeah.
You know, I almost got into a fight at an Erykah Badu concert.
Oh no. How? She's so peace and love. How you?
Okay. Similar to the dude that you was on a date with, you know, I was there with my wife at the time. And, you know, because I'm tall, I like to sit on the edge. So, you know, normally they don't let people walk and like just stand in the aisles. The ushers will come and be like, hey, you got to get out the aisle because you're blocking people's vision. Well, this one dude, him and his gal, when Erykah came on, they was just in the aisle and then they wouldn't move. Even though the ushers saw me and some of the other people that were around were trying to like, hey, bro, like, can you move back to your seat because you blocking our view? So out of all the people that was trying to ask him to move, he took issue with me. So he wouldn't move. So then he starts trying to like antagonize me, like kind of like dance and wiggle his ass. And his lady is saying, like, I'm not thinking this is funny at all, right? So, and I'm not no fighter, but I was like, oh, I'm about to either he gonna whoop my ass, I'm gonna whoop his. I'm about to put my hands on him. So I'm taking my watch off. You know how I start taking his stuff off. I'm handing and my and my ex-wife, she was like, "You really about to fight at the Erykah Badu concert?" I said, "Yep, I'm about to whoop his ass." So you know when motherfuckers really don't want to fight, so they kind of scuffle around, so they start to pushing the shit, hoping somebody breaks it up. So that was
Mm.
great because I really didn't want to fight, but I wanted to fight. So you know, I kind of push him or whatever. And you know who broke up the fight?
Cool.
Erykah Badu. She was
Really?
she was on the stage and was like, "Why y'all fighting at my concert?" And everybody kind of like looking at us, and I was like, "Yeah, we look like some asses right now." And his gal finally got him and was like, come on, you created the scene." But yeah, I'm gonna Erykah Badu called me out.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
might have said anything, might have whooped my ass, but like you pissed me off. I was hot.
He probably chose you because were you the biggest? Because you kind of, you look like intimidating. So,
What I would think that you'd be like, "Hey man, leave that dude alone, man. Go pick up
but
somebody."
no, you know how they say, well, I've heard this when people go to prison, they say you pick the person that you think
Oh,
is the
looking, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I guess why would you have that mentality at the Erykah Badu concert? Though?
True.
I get in a prison setting for sure. I might agree with that, but at Erykah Badu, it's supposed to be peace and hair grease. You know,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, but that was a good memory, man. I'm trying to think about it on a good date that I've been on, but it's funny how like a lot of times you remember all the bad, but sometimes it's hard to bring back the good.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure I've been on some good dates. Oh, I know one.
Okay.
Uh, I tried to date this young lady, and I was really feeling her. And I think we went out one time. Or no, we were just talking on the phone. We was trying to like get to know each other. And I think she understood that I was, really trying to take it there with her. And she was like, well, listen, I'm not even really feeling this right now. And I was like, damn, for real? Because, when a dude really wants a chick, he wants a.
Hmm.
It wasn't like I was like, hey, let's go out and trying to just fuck, whatever. Like, I was like, no, I want to be with you. And she was like, I ain't really on that. Um, but then fast forward like a year, and I got tickets from my frat brothers to a WNBA game. And I was like, man, who am I gonna take? Who am I gonna take? I said, I'm gonna call her. So I called her and she said, yeah. So we went to the game and had a great time. I want to say, was it Juneteenth? It was something because it was a black night. It was a Black History night. So
Hmm.
and the game was good and everything. And we really, really had a great time. So I'm gonna say that's probably recently probably one.
Yeah, I can see it. Like you said, when you have good dates, it's hard to pick just one. I've had a lot of good dates. I've had a few bad ones, but this one date I went on, it wasn't necessarily that the date was great. It was mostly the location. So this guy called me and he was like, how would you like to have lunch on the beach? And I was like, I would love to, because anybody knows me knows that the beach is my happy place. So I was like, I'm serious.
You,
So I
you
was,
know, you know why I roll my eyes.
anybody think about it? So I was like, yeah, of course. And I'm thinking he's planning for the future. And he was like, well, I'll be there in about 20 minutes. So I'm like, okay, so I'm still thinking he's talking about the future. I'm thinking, we're going to go to lunch today, but the beach part is future. Mind you, I didn't know that there's a beach that's like an hour away from me. I'm thinking the few that I thought of take at least 2.5 to 3 hours to get to. Not thinking that. So we drove to a beach that's like I said, like an hour away from me. So like that was, and then, we ate at a restaurant that was on the beach and walked around the beach for a little bit, and then he brought me home. I mean, it was great to me because, like, again, I love the beach.
I gotta ask.
Okay,
Get the draws.
no.
What? Ah, man, this look.
This is why I say if
Listen, you might have should have lied because dudes, we just had a talk, right? It was like guys aren't creative. They try to do one size fit all, and they want to ask what you want to do. This man was spontaneous, took you to the beach, wined you and dined you, brought you home safely, and you still didn't give him the draws.
there are reasons, there are reasons. First of all, like I said, the date itself was great because of the location. Doesn't mean it was the best date. I found out not too long after that that dude was married. So
Oh,
was I still supposed to give him the draws? No.
I mean, if you're gonna be with somebody you're not supposed to be with, go all the way with it.
No. And this was before I was in the lifestyle. So I was definitely
But you didn't know that at the time that he
I
was.
did not know that at the time. No.
Okay, so that's not an excuse. That's not a reason.
No, I found out after again, that date was a lunch date. I mean when we finished the date, he took me home. So there was no time
No, yeah.
to get it in.
This is Conversate After Dark. I've
Yes.
had sex during the daytime before.
Yes, but
I said, no matter, it's a lunch date. So I'm shutting that down. What other reason did you
he
have?
went back to work. So, yes, we went to lunch and then he went back to work.
What kind
He
of damn job he got? He going to take a 4 hour.
he did own his own company.
Okay.
Matter of fact, that's how we met because I did some freelancing work for him, which
Okay.
is another reason why I decided not would actually this was before I found out he was married. Another reason why I decided not to keep dating him was because I felt like he would try to hold my checks hostage.
Yeah, for real.
Yes, yes, yes. He did that the first time he did that. We went out to lunch. And then he kept doing it. So I was like, yeah, okay, I'm good. And then it was after that, a friend of mine told me that he was married.
Wait. How he holding your check hostage? He's like, well, yeah, I'll bring it to if you go out with me, I'll bring your check.
Well, it wasn't like that, I should say. He didn't phrase it like that. It wasn't like a I'm not going to give you your check if you don't go out with me, but I don't know. I told you sometimes I have a hard time saying it wasn't like he wasn't bad looking. He was nice. He was somebody I could talk to because you know me, if I'm quiet, if the other person is not able to start the conversation, I can't, So we had good conversation. So I was like, okay. Wasn't thinking of it at first. This was, it is what it is. But once I realized every time this dude brings me my check, and it was freelance. So it's not like I could, I have a company I could go to. He's the company.
Put my check in the mail, bro.
But anyway, yeah, that's why I said the location was nice. Yes, he was spontaneous. That was great. But it was just, yeah, he wasn't the guy.
You know what some women say? They say ain't nobody more romantic than a motherfucker who's married and not with his wife.
Exactly.
And the converse of that is when your wife cheating on you, she be probably doing some nasty shit with old boy. You the stiff leg. It's a cold world out here.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, for real. So, but I got a question. Would you or wouldn't you? So,
Okay.
would you or wouldn't you? Would you date somebody who had to go do a bid?
Ooh, depends on how long.
All right. Okay, so we'll do two scenarios. Because really, if y'all been dating, like we'll say y'all been together for 2 years
Hmm.
and something happens and he got to go sit down for 3, are you sticking around?
If he's shown, depends on what he did. But let's say it's a
Ain't no weirdo shit, no molesting or beating up old ladies or kids, nothing like that.
right. Let's say maybe he was a pharmaceutical agent or something like that. Um, I could 3 years. I could probably hold on if I was really in love with him. I could hold on.
3 years, you could do that?
3 years, yeah.
Okay. So what does holding down? Does holding down mean I'm gonna hold you down, but I still got to get mine as well? Or you gonna stay faithful the whole time?
Depends on the rules of our relationship. I mean, if the rules of our relationship are that we're monogamous, I can be monogamous. If the rules of our relationship is that we're open, I'm gonna be open for those 3 years. So, I can flow between both worlds. So
Yeah.
I can. I can.
I can't. Nah. Nope. Nope. That ship has sailed. But I would say I would say yeah. I would say yeah. And similar to you, it depends on like would she hold me down and how was she treating me before this happened, you know?
Hmm.
Because 2 years, you really don't owe that person to stay around for 3 years. I can see now if y'all been married for like 5, 10 years or something like that. 3 years, if you bounce off 3 years, I mean, I guess it's your decision, but 3 years, I don't want to do 3 days in jail. But I think for most people, 3 years, time goes by fast. You can get out. Because I had a homeboy who had to sit down and he got 3 years. And with all the good time that you can earn and all that stuff, I know I'm sure every day was long for him, but for me, it seemed like it went fast. So 3 years. I, yeah, but I'm gonna need some companionship. No, I could do it.
Okay.
I
Thank
could
you.
for the right woman, yeah, I definitely would do it.
Okay.
But again, knowing how I get down anyway would be good. I can hold you down though. That's tough though, man. You gotta, drive depending on where they get, put at. You gotta drive to go see them. Now you paying for phone calls because it's all a scam.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gotta pay the email. My homeboy got locked up. I had to pay to email him.
Oh gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah, they get money out of everything. You got to pay to do it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep the spirits up, so I'm just like, yo, what's up, bro? This is going on or whatever. Because I'm definitely not gonna put no pen and paper out and write a letter. I'll send you an email though. You ever dated somebody that was
Not while we was together. I do have an ex who had been in jail before we got married. I mean, I'm sorry, not married, before we dated. Oh my gosh. Yeah, before we dated.
jail or prison?
He was in there over a year, a little over a year. So
You could do that in jail. You could do
I
that.
don't know which one. So
I know some women that say they wouldn't date a dude that's been in prison for a long time.
that I don't, because first of all, a little over a year to me is not that long. And then it had been years since that happened, and the guy that I met was not the bad boy. Because if I had known that he hadn't fully converted his ways, we would have never dated. Because I've never been into the bad boy.
See, I was about to answer that question. I thought maybe you was kind of
Nope. And he was one of my exes that took me a while to get over him. It was a toxic relationship. And what actually was like, girl, what is you doing? What actually made me think that is because I remember we had a conversation and he said something like something because I'm a thug. And I was like, girl, you don't even like thugs. What are you doing here? And that actually is what turned that turned that thing off. And
man.
I was done.
Damn. I know I like my chicks with a little bit of thug in them. You know,
I like guys who can handle themselves, but I don't necessarily want or even guys who are hood, but I don't necessarily need a street dude, if you get what I'm saying.
yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah,
Yeah.
you could be from the hood and not hood.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you date hood dudes.
No, that's what I'm saying. Not really. Like like you just said, I can date somebody who maybe grew up, in a neighborhood or, but and can take I like a guy who can most women when they say they want a bad guy, really what they want is one, excitement, two, a guy that they feel can protect them or can handle themselves if something were to come up. I don't that is the same for me, but I don't want somebody who actually lives that life.
I've dated women that okay, so I've dated both. I've dated women that grew up in the hood, but their family had standards and values that just, maybe it was the city that she was raised in, where you just couldn't be out in the suburbs in the house. You lived in, apartment buildings or what have you. Um, and then I've also dated chicks, they was goddamn hood. And like for me, it wasn't obviously it's not about security or anything, but sometimes it's the excitement, because a lot of times I'm stereotyping like a motherfucker right now. But like, when this motherfucker grow up in the projects or in the hood, you got to be on point all the time. You got to be
Yeah.
ready to take it there. And a lot of times that becomes like your defense mechanism with every situation. So,
Mhm.
that's when you get those little toxic relationships. But
Yeah.
realize I ain't built for that. I'm not built for chicks trying to run up on me and fight me and cut my clothes or damage my car. I had that type of relationships. No, no.
Yeah.
Because at some point, I think most guys, let me not say that. I know of more than a few guys that kind of thought it was cute to have a chick acting crazy over him, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Almost every guy I know has a story about a crazy chick.
okay, a lot of us have a story, but some guys kind of like try to like bring that out of their chick.
Yeah.
They
I
like,
get that, but what I've noticed is that there were signs. huge red flags that said she's crazy, and they kept going.
Me, I've done that before. I've done
Yeah.
definitely because you thinking with your penis,
Hmm.
thinking like, I remember asking this chick. I told her how I get down, and she was like, I'm not built for that." And I was like, "Why not?" And she was like, "Because I'm crazy." And she said, "Because I'm crazy." And I sat there, and instead of me being like, "Oh, okay, thanks for telling me," you know what I said? How crazy? And you know what her response was? She's
What?
fucking psychotic. And that still didn't, I still kept pursuing her. And she showed me that she was crazy. So then I caught myself confronting my homegirl who introduced me to her. And I was like, why you let me mess with this old crazy chick? And she was like, didn't I tell you not to talk to her? And I said, I don't listen. And what was funny is like her relative, this is my homegirl for real, her relatives was like, you was dating who? Oh, that girl crazy as shit. So like I didn't even listen. I don't even listen to my stuff, my own advice.
See. And
Yeah.
you know what? Because I don't date bad guys, I hate hearing people say that good guys finish last. I hate when women say that because, or they say good guys are boring. My thing is, you're choosing the wrong guys because I've dated mostly good guys my whole life, and I've never been in a relationship and was bored because guys are funny. Like that's my number one attraction is a funny guy. So yeah, it's if you're meeting a guy who you think is boring and you think it's because he's a good guy, you're choosing the wrong guy. That's yeah.
I get it. I don't think guys got that. I don't know if guys necessarily care about if a chick is born or not. What you think?
Um, I think some do.
I think some guys like we like, I like because she's born because she ain't gonna be out in the mix. So I got my girl and I can go do my thing. I've been guilty of that in the past.
Definitely.
But now, she gotta have something going on too, you know.
Mhm.
Gotta have something going on too. But so no jailbirds for you.
No, no, not if I can help it. No.
Dang, it's tough out here. I had a homeboy that dated a chick that did 6 years, and she turned into a very successful individual entrepreneur. But you also know not to play no games with her.
Yeah, I mean, then that's why I can't rule it out altogether because there are people who made a mistake and they end up in jail or learn their lesson. And when they come out, they're a totally different person. So that's why I said the guy that I dated, even though it was toxic, he had a lot of qualities that made him a good guy. He was just a little toxic and still thought he was a thug. Even though I met him in the corporate world. But anyway,
Hey man, sometimes there's corporate thugs too.
right. And that's how he got me because I met him at work and not on the street.
Anyway, we tell people how they can find us.
You can find us at Conversate After Dark everywhere. And if you'd like to be a guest on the show or you have a topic you want us to cover, you can reach us at CVAD, the podcast at gmail.com. Make sure you like this video, share it, subscribe, and leave us a comment.
That's right. Go to our website, www.conversateafterdark.com, and check out our episodes. And make sure you tell a friend. We'll watch next time. Peace.
Bye.